ladies and gentlemen of the internet,
Oh, we have cameras.
friends and family of Ben and Marshall, we're here. The Cinema Lounge is presenting to you Air, only in theaters, April 4th.
Is that when it was in theaters?
Yep. Only.
I mean, it's probably in theaters.
But now it's on
more
streaming. That's just what they say nowadays. It's not in theaters, it's only in theaters.
That's true.
That's all it is.
This is all the intro.
When did they get rid of that? Anyway, we're presenting that to you. Roll the cool jazz.
That doesn't mean anything. Oh, look, I have all the stuff for Air open on my computer. Ben, welcome.
Thank you.
To the CLP on video for the first time, if we actually do this on video.
I tried to drink my microphone. I don't know if you got that on video.
I hope so. We got it on video, which means that we're going to have to stick to our 30-minute time limit that we've pretended that we have on the CLPs.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's going to be great.
If you're listening to this in your ear holes instead of your eye holes, we're going to keep it tight. It's kind of nice, huh? The mango cart.
It's very good.
It's mango-y, wheat ale. Kind of fun.
I think I like this better than the Empyrean mango. What's it?
I think that maybe is there a mango IPA and this one's a mango wheat ale maybe?
Oh,
Perhaps
that'd
that's
be
the
why.
difference?
I like ales. Yeah.
Roger ales.
Great detasseling company.
All right.
So, we're here to talk about Air, directed by Ben Affleck.
Correct.
I know who it is.
Yeah.
Directed by Ben Affleck, written by Alex Convery. Chris Tucker also has writing credit, but that's its own story. The score doesn't seem to exist. I couldn't find a composer. It seems like it was all soundtrack.
It's a lot of soundtrack, yeah.
It seems to be like 99% soundtrack.
Yeah, that's interesting. Huh.
Cinematography is by Robert Richardson, who has done, I don't know, maybe you've heard of Platoon, Wall Street, Born on the 4th of July, Natural Born Killers, Casino, Kill Bill, The Aviator, Inglourious Basterds, Shutter Island, Hugo, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Never heard of any of them, Marshall.
Oh, well, you're missing out on a couple things. Performances, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Viola Davis, Chris Tucker are kind of the main people. There's other people in there. I might be missing someone important, but it's too late. I don't care about them.
Nice.
Because this is the CLP, and I don't give a darn.
Yeah, we're presenting.
We're presenting.
Yeah, no spoilers.
No spoilers. So, Ben, would you like to read the IMDb synopsis, please?
Air follows the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro, I probably mispronounced that, and how he led Nike in its pursuit of the greatest athletes in the history of basketball. Holy, that's a claim. Michael Jordan.
Yeah. That's basically, that's probably the most accurate IMDb description that we've gotten up to this point.
It's also like just perfectly the movie. The movie is what it says it is.
Yes.
You're like, oh, how do they cram that story into a, what is it, hour and a half? 2 hour?
An hour and a half?
No, maybe it's
full-size movie.
You're right. It's got to be 2 plus.
Hour 51.
Hour 51. A 2-hour movie of them courting Michael Jordan? Correct. That is the whole movie, which helps the IMDb page be right on the money. Because it's just that story, which I guess we'll get into this later, whether or not we like that. But
yeah.
It's not quite a slow burn. It's just like a simple plot, a simple story, an interesting story.
But there's like not a ton to it necessarily.
Not really.
Which
it's kind of the thing happening. It's the story, but also that's the thing is it's such an iconic part of our culture that really
what is the shoe?
The shoe,
or, yeah.
Michael Jordan having a deal with Nike that really propels the story. If you don't really care about Nike shoes or Michael Jordan, then it's not that interesting.
Yeah.
But if you've ever been interested in sneakers, shoes, I mean, they're iconic. The story in and of itself.
They're probably the most famous individual shoe.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Of all time.
Yeah. So, yeah, they have to be. That's what's gripping to the story. So.
Yeah. I think, if we're talking script, score, cinematography, performances, directing, VFX, I think this is very well directed by Ben Affleck. he's a fantastic director. He's won the Oscar for it before, for Argo, I believe. Everyone in this does a very good job. I like everyone who's in this. Jason Bateman, I thought, was very good in this.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Ozark, and I really think I should, because I've only seen him act in Arrested. So I've not seen him do his like serious stuff. And after seeing this, I'm like, oh, I can see how that would work. Sure. Matt Damon, it seemed like it was a little too easy for him. Like he was doing all right, but it's not like I'm just kind of seeing Matt Damon for most of this. Viola Davis is playing the same character that Viola Davis plays in everything, where she's the very stern, tough woman, but she does it very well, and she's very good in it. And Chris Tucker is more or less Chris Tucker.
Yeah, which apparently he is acquaintances with the guy he was playing. Do you see this?
Beforehand?
Yeah. And so he was given quite a bit of liberty with the role, which is why it feels a lot like it's Chris Tucker sometimes, because he's not necessarily trying to play a figure as on the money historically, because he was given some wiggle room within that, apparently. Yeah.
Well, what I saw that he was not actually in the script that much at all initially, strangely, which is why he has so much of a, like, they gave him a writing credit, I believe, because he really did just come up with most of his stuff. But
while we're still speaking in generalities, before we get into any sort of spoilers, I'm gonna say I liked this movie more than I thought I would. I was pretty meh on going to see it in theaters. I waited till it was on streaming, obviously.
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people who told me it was good. People who liked sports, people who were into shoes, and so I think I kind of took it with a grain of salt. This exceeded my expectations, I think. So I had low.
Really?
I didn't have low expectations. I just had like meh expectations. I just wasn't really that interested going into it. But it was just like a solid historical biopic.
Interesting.
So in my opinion, it was good. Yeah, I would. But yeah, no spoilers right off the bat. I think sometimes I should be more forthcoming with my opinion in the CLPs right away. I like this movie.
I had somewhat the reverse. Like, I also liked it, but I was expecting a bit more from it than I got. Like, it feels a little too bog standard to me. With the kind of talent that's involved in this, it feels weird. Like, it feels the same as Tetris to me.
Whoa,
like,
really?
Yes.
Interesting.
But with such better talent behind it. Like, I think it's a better movie than Tetris.
Yeah.
But I really just got the same vibe. Like, Matt Damon's character, Sonny, Vaccaro. They introduce at the very beginning of the movie, he's got this gambling problem or something. Or at least they try to give you that inclination with this scene where he's at a casino or something, and he's
sports gambling.
Pushing it too far, and then, he loses the money all on red, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh, is that going to come back? And, like, kind of. Because I want to put it all on Michael Jordan, and I want to... He's going to be the guy, and that's... I promise, like, I feel it in my bones and everything. And that would feel like there would be tension there, except that we know that it works out, and that it does become the most famous shoe of all time, and he does become, like, the face of Nike and everything. So there's not really... Like, we're rewarding this man for his addiction, is what it feels like. But they also never come back to that at all, except for kind of implying that personality that he has is the reason that he's going so hard on this.
I just kind of viewed that as more of the character building than plot building of some background on his motivation as a character or something like that. But I see what you're saying, yeah.
I feel like the tough thing with movies like this is that you have to in a biopic, we know what generally happens in someone's story and in the story of the thing that we're watching, depending on what it is. Not everything is as well known. Like the Tetris movie is not as well known. The problem that you run into is you still have to have some kind of conflict, an emotional arc and character arc and everything, and you can't just manufacture that because it's a true-ish story. You can't just make it up. It has to be somewhat real. And it feels like in this, I don't know if the main character was Sonny, or if the main character was the shoe, or what. Like, what is this movie actually about?
Well, I think so. I think Sonny's the main character.
I think he's trying to land the deal. But I don't know what character. He doesn't have a character arc.
Beyond he's the basketball guru expert that saves the basketball division. I guess is the shoe the main character? I don't know. I don't think so. I think something interesting is that they don't ever they allude to Michael Jordan, which I think that's cool, that it's like the pursuit of landing the deal, or like you keep Michael Jordan as like not a hidden figure, not a mystery figure, but that you keep him as the allure of like the great figure, you know, like you still like, you don't really have to tell the story of Michael Jordan within this. It recenters
because it's really not about him,
right?
I don't know. It just feels a little empty to me in the end.
Interesting.
Like it has all of the elements that a biopic should have, but I don't feel like anything really came out of it.
I could tell. Yeah, there's no hero's journey by any means. There's no like.
Sonny has not changed in any way throughout this. He's just the gambling guy, and then he's gonna bet everything on Michael Jordan because he believes in it, and maybe he would lose his job if he doesn't get this, but there's never really an actual threat of him losing. Like Ben Affleck's character, Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, he's never really threatening to fire him, so I just don't feel the conflict there that I would like to feel. Like there's not stakes to me. Like the basketball section gets shut down. I know that doesn't happen. So you have to do something to give tension here. Like we know this is basically a prequel to real life. We know what happens after this. So there's another way that you have to write this that makes it work, and I don't know what that is. It's the same way like when they're making Andor. Andor is a prequel. We know that Cassian Andor dies in Rogue One, so he can't die or come to any serious harm in this show. So what do you do with that? Like, how do you make their tension for him? I don't know, but they managed to do it. And I feel like that just wasn't present in this. So maybe what they needed was just a space prison and a water planet.
There you go.
They needed Sonny to get arrested on a beach planet.
They needed Michael Jordan to die.
They needed Michael Jordan to get blowed up by a Death Star shoe.
Yep, at the very end.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you compared it to Tetris. I think this is way better than Tetris. For multiple reasons. But that was something that I was thinking of as I was watching, was that I wanted to go back and retroactively give my Tetris score an even worse score than I gave it.
Really?
I think this is just so much better. Like a compelling story that you tell in an interesting way. You can make it funny. You can make it kind of outlandish sometimes. Like there's moments of this where I think, there's definitely comedy woven all throughout the story. It's
100%.
a pretty funny movie.
There is.
Like, it's pretty silly, the whole thing.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to overdo it like Tetris did. Or Tetris got into that weird, we talked about this on the pod. Go back and listen to it if you want. But where they had the way blown out of proportion car chase scene. Or like, it wasn't really following the true interesting story of Tetris.
Yeah.
It went off on its own. And I think this is just a better movie. Or if you can't do a movie like this, maybe it's just because Tetris, I don't think, did a good job of what they were trying to accomplish. And it didn't feel like they had a grounding point at any point there.
Yeah.
But this just felt simple, telling the story that's interesting with really phenomenal actors. I think you're right. I think if it wasn't for those actors, this movie fails.
Yeah, if you take these people out and put the cast from Tetris in, it's not the same.
Yeah, right.
It doesn't work. Like, the reason that I wanted to see this movie is because it had Jason Bateman, and it had Matt Damon, and it had Ben Affleck, and it had Chris Tucker, and it had Viola Davis. Like, that is I don't get drawn into a theater like that. Like, it's a new Will Smith feature. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
But in this case, that was kind of the main reason I was interested.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a sneakerhead. I don't care about basketball or Michael Jordan or anything. I'm interested in Ben Affleck as a filmmaker. So even on that level, I was kind of disappointed because I've seen the other things that he's directed. I've seen Argo, which won Best Picture, did it? Like, that's a very good movie. And this was just not at that level for me. I don't know. I wanted more from it. That's what I think.
I think what it did with the simpleness of it all was impressive to me. I can see you saying you want more. I think, like you said, the IMDb is very simple. The whole story is very simple. I think given that, it's impressive in my eyes. I think this is really interesting. I think you went into it with higher expectations, came out disappointed. I went into it with low expectations, came out with it. So it's kind of interesting. I think we're like, we
weirdly,
probably had
like,
a
meeting
similar
almost
experience.
in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But my overall view is like, oh, that was better than I thought.
Yeah. I think what did seem interesting to me is that there really is not much to the story. Because you come out of it, and it is like the space of a week, maybe, and not a ton happens. Like, it seems like the opposite of Tetris, where Tetris, there's so much that happens in that story, to the point where the first 15 minutes is, like, exposition vomit. Like, tons of over and over, like, this guy had the rights, and then this guy had the rights, and then this kind of rights was over here, and then nobody had the rights, and then this guy actually had the rights, and it was a crazy big thing, and then weirdly this other thing happened, and it was crazy. And this is just like the opposite of that, where it seems like it needs more. It needs more material to fill that. I mean, it's not even 2 hours. It's 9 minutes short of 2 hours. And, like, I don't know what I would add, and I certainly wouldn't cut anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think just script, it was well written, and it was well directed, and it was well performed, but I just wanted more. Also, the thing that I think is the most disappointed about this movie is the cinematography. And that's why I made a point of reading out this guy's filmography. Because this guy, Robert Richardson, he was the DP for Platoon, for Natural Born Killers, a wild-looking movie, Casino, Kill Bill, The Aviator, Inglourious Bastards, Shutter Island, Hugo, Django Unchained, Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time on... These are visually stunning, visually super interesting movies. Yeah. And I would never have said that anything in this movie looked more than bog standard. Yeah. Which is bizarre to me.
But what else are you supposed to do with it? I'm thinking that, like, the one time I was kind of interested was they had a scene where they were in a bathroom and there was, like, there was a urinal conversation, a stall urinal conversation, and, like, some of the camera shots and movements and that. I was like, oh, this is, like, interesting. But, I mean, in a biopic like this, how are you supposed to... It's not Hateful Eight. It's not Inglourious Bastards, you know? Like, what do you do with that? I'm
trying to think of other biopics,
How many of those movies are even similar to Air? Or similar to a historical drama?
I don't know. Like, I think that there is something that you could do, but it was utterly proficient, is how I would describe it. Yeah. And from a guy who has done such, like, Platoon is not a wildly visually beautiful, stylized movie, but it still is shot extremely well. And this movie just seems like you could get, like, a regular guy who's done some independent film and put him on that set and have him do that. Like, Walk the Line is the preeminent biopic, and it has creative camera work, and it has, like, really well put together shots and sequences, and I just didn't get that from this. I like it more than I sound like.
Yeah.
Like,
that's good.
It just, I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah. I also feel like the lack of a score hurt it. Like, it was... A biopic is all about pulling on your heart.
The cunning warrior attacks neither body nor mind. Tell me how! The heart, Osborne. First, we attack his heart.
Strings and manipulating you. And when you take the music out, you can't really do that as well. Yeah. Like, there was the one scene that was kind of emotional, and that was Jason Bateman's character talking about how if the deal doesn't go through, then he's basically never going to see his daughter, or his daughter's not going to love him anymore. So, I don't know. And it's emotional. He does a really good job. But I just kept thinking, like, what if there was, like, any kind of music? Because it was just silent, and just Jason Bateman and Matt Damon talking. Yeah. And it felt a little empty to me.
Yeah. It's definitely heavy on the 80s nostalgia. Yeah. All throughout the movie. Yeah. And the soundtrack, all 80s movies. That's all it is. It's mostly 80s nostalgia. That's it. I mean, scene where he's in the gas station buying a Slurpee, buying a Sports Illustrated magazine. All
Which
that
none of
just-
that felt gratuitous.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, I feel like that all like made sense within the world of the movie.
I really love the pickup to the movie, like the intro of just cutting scenes of 80s pop. Pop references. That's all it was.
Yes, I did like that. I wrote on my notes here, opening sequence placing us firmly in the 80s.
There's also
I
a
thought that was
very
cool.
interesting thing, and I don't know what you think about it,
Yes.
where there is it's kind of like there's a narrator, or the movie is giving you information instead of having the characters give you the information, and I don't know how to feel about it. So, for example, honestly, this whole thing is like not really spoilers. The whole thing,
there's
because
no
it's a
way to
biopic.
spoil. Everyone knows
whatever.
what happens here.
So there's a couple scenes where it flashes like percentage of sneaker market, Converse, 12%.
Yeah.
Adidas, 25%, whatever. So there's like a narrator picking that for you, and then it cuts to the Nike company rules or whatever.
Yes.
Like this is how our company will operate.
I wrote those down.
And oh really? It's really cool. I think that's fun. Honestly, like a piece of a character in the story is the company of Nike.
Yes.
Which I like actually. I think that's interesting. And a cool part of the story. However, there's a weird thing where it's not a character saying, "Look at the wall, Jim. There's our company values," or whatever, or like, "Hey, the stash just came in. Here's welcome to the meeting, everybody. We were only at 12% of the thing." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that in a movie like this.
I
think I like it.
I think I like it as well. I guess that is one place where they could have stretched it out more and kind of added to the drama of it, though. It like make that a conference room scene where they're talking about like, man, like Adidas and Converse, they've got all of the market share, and we've got squat. Like, we need to figure something out, or the company is going to go under. Like, that's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
But like, that is a way that I think they could have easily added some tension. Actually, now that you say it, because I think that it works, but I think if I was doing it, I might go back and make that actually like a conference room thing. And they do briefly like talk about Matt Damon, Sonny, and Phil have arguments various times about one of the tenets of the thing, which is perfect results count, not perfect process. Break the rules, fight the law. That one comes back a lot because Sonny's like, perfect results, blah, 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 blah. And Phil's like, you gotta have perfect results because that's the rule that I set, and I'm the founder of Nike. Like, and it's good. And there's like framing devices, like different chapters of the movie, essentially, based on different rules of Nike at different points. But I don't really see those rules playing out very obviously or very heavily in those scenes. I'm like, well, I'm glad we have this, I guess.
Yeah.
The thing I thought you were going to talk about,
Go ahead.
that I don't know how I feel about it, that I think I would not do, is in the conference room scene when they finally get a meeting with Michael and his parents, and it's all going terribly, and Sonny is just like, stop the video. And then he does this speech, which may or may not be a thing that he actually said. I don't know. It'd be cool if it was. It was very good. But as he's saying that, he's talking about, like, you're going to become the best there ever is, and then they're going to break you down, and they're going to betray you, and they're going to talk trash about you, like all this different stuff. And there's going to be tragedy in your life. And as he's saying these things, they cut to future events in Michael Jordan's life of they're going to betray you, and it's some business deal that went some other direction or something, and they're going to expose you, and it's an affair that he had, and there's going to be tragedy, and it's his father being shot and killed. Like, and they cut to that footage and everything, and that felt a little weird to me because they made the conscious choice, and I've watched videos and heard them talk about this, Ben Affleck specifically, that the reason they don't have Michael on screen is because the moment that you show his face, it's like, oh, that's not him.
Right.
Like, that doesn't look like him. Like, who
only
even
thing
knows
you think
what
of.
young 19-year-old Michael Jordan looks like at that point, really?
Yeah.
Like, it just takes you out of that a little bit. And they're trying to keep that kind of legend of Michael Jordan there. But then putting that footage in and seeing, here he is, that's him, and, like, the real guy. That breaking the fourth wall feels strange to me in a way that the text Converse 40% of the market, Adidas 1,000%, whatever. That doesn't feel out of place to me because that seems like a framing device that makes sense for a biopic. Mm-hmm. The future footage and stuff seems like it's physically actually breaking the fourth wall.
It's pulling me out of this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, and it just I just think I would keep that scene exactly how it is and not show future.
It almost feels lazy to me.
It does. Because if you know, it is heavy-handed. Because if you know his future, if you're a Michael Jordan fan, then you know about all of these famous events because he's the most famous basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
Him and Magic. And it's like, if you don't know that stuff, like I don't know that his father was shot and killed in his driveway or something and that he had an affair and all this different stuff. I know that he played baseball, but I only know that because of Space Jam. Yeah. Like, then it just, like, even for me, the layman, it feels weird and out of place. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is a difficult part of the movie that they try to balance, is sneaking in little tidbits of real life. Or there's the part where they're going through the wall of who are we going to have sponsor. Yeah. Or who are we going to get? Like, we can't get Michael, we can't get this person.
That was a great line.
Like
Charles Barkley. About Charles Barkley? Like, what do they say?
Bad locker room incidents.
Locker room incidents. And they're like, what? It says trash talk. Nobody wants to see Barkley on TV.
Yeah, right.
Like, well,
exactly.
That's everything that everyone knows him about now. Yeah. Like, that's funny.
Yeah. So I think there's lots of those moments where if you didn't grow up watching basketball in the 80s, or if you aren't a basketball history fan, a lot of that doesn't necessarily land. But it's also okay. Like, I don't need you to cut to a clip of Charles Barkley having a locker room incident to tell me that story, you know?
If they're going to do that in the conference room, I would rather them make that a whole motif, like an Adam McKay movie, like The Big Short. Like, do these major cutaways.
Right.
Like, if you, like, no one wants to see Barkley on TV, cut to Charles Barkley. What?
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, make that the thing. Choose your tone and stick with that. The same thing that I was saying with Tetris. Like, if you make this more of a silly movie, I think it works better.
Right.
And I think that this could fit that, and you could go both directions with that, but then I don't know, it's tough.
Yeah.
We're coming up on a few minutes left. We got, my timer went off, so we have less than 5 minutes.
Okay, I want to segue to see what you think about this, the connection to the interesting thing that they did with this movie with the actors' equity thing. This was was this their first project with it where they shared profits?
Yes.
Do you know much about that?
Generally, we've talked about it a little bit on the show. Essentially, Actors Equity is this thing that it's this company that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon have put together, where instead of the money gets put up by a distribution company and stuff like that, or by producers, then if they go over budget, etc., whatever, it's a disaster. Excuse me. Instead of that, they have a set budget. It's right there, and if they come in under budget, or if they make a buttload of money, that gets spread out to everybody. And if they go over budget, that comes directly out of their pockets. So it's a very high, not high risk, but like medium risk, high reward system that I hope that they're successful enough, and I think they have enough money that even if this movie isn't doing super well, that I don't know if it's doing amazing numbers necessarily. I know that they'll keep making stuff, and I hope that that becomes the future system.
Also, excuse me, it's artists' equity, not actors' equity.
Yes,
sorry.
right. Yeah, because it's everybody.
Yeah, I'm curious. This is the first movie that I can think of since COVID that is this style of movie that I think there used to be a lot more of these movies, and they don't get greenlit anymore. There's not a lot of these coming out of the major studios, so I think it's cool that at least someone's doing a movie that's like this right now, that is more major in theaters, not straight to streaming. Tetris is obviously an Apple TV original. Like a lot of those historical biopic type movies are going direct to streaming. So I think it's cool that they have a movie like this going to theater. But
I think so.
Interesting thing I just learned.
Tell me about it.
Speaking of, it's on streaming. So this was actually produced by Amazon Studios. Amazon Studios. So it hasn't done super great at the box office. 75 million, 90 million budget.
Okay.
But apparently Amazon wasn't planning on having it really make any money because it was intended for streaming, but they pushed it to theaters anyway. So
it's all gravy, baby.
So all that 75 million is all boom, great. we weren't really banking on box office revenue anyway.
Only made $75 million?
Apparently, this is as of May 2nd. That must have been the first. I don't know what it is right now.
Okay.
I could take a look. But anyway, so interesting. Opening was 15 million. Gross is as of yesterday, it was at 100 and, what? Due date 52 million. What? Anyway, whatever.
That's a lower number than
Whatever.
before.
Whatever. Yeah, well, I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it wasn't intended for drinking.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you. What were you saying? You were about to conclude the episode, I think.
Yeah, just about.
Yeah.
About. I don't know. I think it was good. I enjoyed it. I didn't love it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to like it more than I did.
Mm-hmm.
If we have to say yes or no, I say, yeah.
Okay.
What do you say, Ben?
I say,
You have to look in the camera.
if you like,
Watch out.
Fudge.
I spent money on that.
if you like sneakers and basketball and sports biopics, then yes. If you feel fine about all those things, then
Yeah.
yeah. Say how do you say it again?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try it. Yeah.
No, it's more like, wait, hold on. I have to get serious. Yeah. Is that good?
Okay, I'll try it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that was too loud. It was too loud. You have to
It's
be
fine.
more.
It's
You
a
have to
yes.
be more meek.
It's a yes. I'm giving it a C plus.
Oh, whoa!
I don't freaking know. A C plus. C plus. I said it.
I would also give it a C plus, but that's just more. Man, I would have said B. Now you said C plus, and I'm going down.
I don't know. B minus.
All right, it's a D. Don't do it.
Nah, I won't.
Thanks everyone for listening. This has been our show, Cinema Lounge Prevents, and we're here to talk about it. So thanks everyone for talking in with us and listening about it, and we will talk about it next week.
Will we?
Yes.
All right. Bye, everybody.
What order is this coming out?
Oh,
The one on this Wednesday is Guardians, and then after that
should be long.
is
This is 2 weeks from now.
yes. So we don't know what's coming.
we
next.
just gave away our secrets. We're not live.
Ooh, it's live. Whenever you listen to this, we are doing a performance for you.
Yep. Just like Saturday night. Live.
Just like Saturday night.
Which was what we talked about last week.
We did bring
Kind
it up.
Once.
Well, now we have to only bring it up one time in the entire episode.
Anyway, guys, we miss you. We love you, and we'll see you on the Scoob-Doo.
I salute you all. Go watch Air if you want to. It's on Amazon Prime for free if you already pay for Amazon Prime. A quick if this then that. You could watch a Tetris. You could watch the Flamin' Hot Cheetos movie that's coming out soon.
What the fudge?
Yeah. You could watch the Blackberry movie that just came out that I've heard is actually quite good.
Oh yeah, that's
That's
part of my childhood.
There's a weird subgenre of biopic that has become huge recently, which is origin story of an object.
Wow, huh?
And I don't know how I feel about it.
That sounds like it should be on Netflix, and isn't it directly on Netflix? Is that what it's for?
The Cheeto one?
I don't know.
Blackberry.
If you want to watch a good biopic, watch Ford v Ferrari. Ford versus Ferrari. Speaking of Matt Damon in a biopic, that's just a good movie.
Yeah.
Go watch.
Terrible
Ford
name.
Go watch Ford versus Ferrari. It's the whole story. Okay.
The name in other countries was Le Mans 67.
That sounds way better.
Which I think is that whatever year it was that they.
Yeah, I think that would have done better if it was that.
Yeah, but as opposed to Ford versus Ferrari is such a stupid like American name.
Yeah.
I don't care about it.
Go
Le
watch.
Mans 60. I don't know. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been the official podcast of the Great Scub-Doo, the YouTube channel we never touch. It's Cinema Lounge Presents, and we are going to talk about something next week. We don't know what it is yet, but we'll tell you about it. And how can you find out, Ben?
On the social medias.
Where are they?
On the Instagram, and on the Discord, and on the soon-to-be email list, and on the YouTube channel we never touch.
Where can you find all the links for those things?
Oh, in the show notes, probably.
The show notes?
I don't know what they call it
Is
on
that
all
the
different
description?
things. Is that what they call it on? It depends on the social media. It depends on what you're listening to this on.
It's the description.
Honestly, just text Marshall. The only people who listen to this are my friends.
That's not
And I
true.
don't
We
want
got
them to
listeners in
text-
Germany.
All right, Germans. Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
And
Kaputt.
And listen to the Discord description.
Das Boot. I've been Adidas.
I've been Adidas. Oh yeah.
I didn't know that Adidas was it was a shortened version of his name, Adi Dassler, and that Adi is a shortened version of his name, Adolf. He's dead though. So is the other one.
He's alive in Argentina. All right, bye.
Thanks everyone for listening. This has been Marshall.
I've been.